Understanding measures of position in education. In education, it's important to understand how students are doing in order to make good decisions that help everyone improve. To do this, we use different ways to summarize and understand students' scores or performance. These ways are called measures of position. The most common measures of position are the mean, median, quartiles, and percentiles. Let's look at each one and see how they can be useful in schools. The mean is the average. To find the mean, you add up all the numbers and divide by how many numbers there are. For example, if you have test scores like 80, 85, and 90, you add them together to get 255, then divide by 3, the number of scores. So, the mean is 85. This tells you the overall average score of the group. The advantage of using the mean is that it gives you a quick picture of how everyone is doing. However, if there's an extremely high or low score, like one student scoring 100 and another scoring 40, the mean can be affected, and it might not give a good picture of the majority of the class. The median is the middle number when you put all the numbers in order. If there's an even number of scores, you find the middle by averaging the two middle numbers. For example, if the scores are 80, 85, 90, 95, and 100, the median is 90, because it's the middle number. If the scores are really different, like some students scoring very high and others very low, the median helps because it isn't affected by those extreme scores. It shows the score that is right in the middle, so it's useful when you want to avoid being misled by outliers. Quartiles split the data into 4 parts. The first quartile is the point that marks 25% of the data, the second quartile is the middle or median, and the third quartile is the point where 75% of the data lies. Quartiles can help us see the range of scores, and they are especially useful when you want to see how students are spread out. For example, if you are looking at test scores, quartiles can show you how many students scored in the top 25% and how many are in the bottom 25%. However, quartiles don't tell you exactly how every student did, they just show you the boundaries of the different groups. Percentiles break the data into 100 parts. The 10th percentile is the point where 10% of the students have scores lower than that, and the 90th percentile is where 90% of the students scored lower. For example, if a student is in the 90th percentile, they did better than 90% of the other students. Percentiles are great for comparing individual students to their peers. However, they can be hard to understand for someone who is not familiar with statistics. Each of these measures has its strengths and weaknesses. The mean is simple and shows the overall average but can be affected by extreme scores. The median is good for showing the middle of the data, especially when the scores are very different. Quartiles help break the data into smaller parts, but they don't give a complete picture. Percentiles are good for comparing individual students to others, but they can be tricky to understand. In schools, teachers and principals can use these measures to understand how students are doing in different subjects. For example, they can use the mean to see how well the class did on a test overall. The median can be used to find out what the typical student score is, especially when there are very high or low scores. Quartiles can help teachers figure out which students need more help and which ones are doing really well. Finally, percentiles can help identify the top students or those who need extra support. By using these measures, schools can make better decisions about what changes to make to help students improve and succeed. It's like using a map to figure out where students are and how to get them to their goals. Understanding these tools helps everyone in school work together to create a better learning environment.